guys. Hey, Mr. Anderson here. Hey, I'm getting ready to do a part two on this picture. Let me go to our, uh, whoa, oh, this ruler's a little bit loud. Go to our picture here on our document camera. Now, this is where we got on part one of our video. Hopefully everybody did all right on that. Now, you think about this, just kind of review. Start off with the corner line, and if you draw, your sidelines for the right side all the way always to that vanishing point on the right side, and then the ones on the left to the left. All right, pretty simple. But of course, as you build more and more things on here, it looks a little complex, right? The idea is simple. And it could work for other types of buildings. If you think about that, let me flip this over. If I wasn't making a large building, let's just say, it's just making a cube. Again, start with that middle small line, attaching the corners to the left and the right vanishing points, okay? And then at some point, and I think when you guys were in the 6th grade, we talked a little bit about this, where we did letters, and kind of cut them off at a certain spot so they weren't like letters going all the way into space. But here, at some point, kind of cut this off. And then over here, you could make it just about equal. And then, of course, erase that horizon line in the middle of your cube, unless it's made out of glass, I suppose. Let's pretend this one is not made out of glass. And then you could get rid of those, guidelines going all the way. And I mentioned it in the video yesterday. I draw these all the way to the vanishing points for, let's just say, educational purposes, okay? If I were drawing this picture myself, not for you guys, just for myself, I can line up my ruler to the vanishing point and not draw it all the way there, okay? It's just like when I'm measuring for doing work around the house or something. I was doing some drywall last week, and you don't have to draw it. If I'm doing a measurement for something on one side of a piece of drywall, I don't have to measure it all the way across, okay? Even though I might do that for reference, I might not have to draw the lines all the way there. So same thing. If I knew this building was only going to be so wide, I didn't have to draw it all the way to the vanishing point. I just did it so that you guys could see that's where that line always goes. All right. We better get a little bit busy on this, because we're going to add some details. And I put so many buildings in here, I'm not sure we're going to get to every building, but we'll get as far as we can. No problem. The whole point is that you learn how to do it, okay? Let's just see where we get. So I was thinking this, let's start with the center building here. I was thinking about, I'm not going to go too small. This building, sorry, kind of cleaning up my mess as I go. I'm going to make these windows a little bit larger than what they would in scale, what they'd be in scale, just because this could take a little while. And one thing I might want to do, if I want them equal distant, okay? If I want my windows nice and uniform, I'm going to have multiples going down this building, through this building. It might be good to, on that center piece, go ahead and mark off some equal areas. So if I have a ruler, I could use, of course, inches on my ruler to make little marks. Again, let's just pretend we don't have a ruler, for those of you that don't. And let's use our piece of paper here. this is just one of my attendance sheets here. I line this up again. I know the lines on this paper are equal, so maybe I could go 1, 2, 3, make a mark. 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 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm making a mark, obviously, every 3 all the way down. Okay. Then let's go ahead and draw from this mark, from the top one. I'm going to draw a line going down to our vanishing point. Okay. I'm going to come up to the next line, do the same thing. Whoop, I kind of bumped it. All right. Right here. Now again, I think we talked about on the last video. Whoa, my ruler moved. This ruler used to have cork on the bottom of it, and it would prevent it from slipping. If you have a ruler that has that, that's nice. This ruler is so old that the cork eventually fell off. I think from my days of carrying it back and forth to class at Purdue, probably in the cold winter, back when Purdue art buildings were over by McDonald's. Now you guys, you'll notice what I was talking about, this angles down. As I got real close to this horizon line, the lines are almost horizontal, so you can see. Okay. And then as I go below the horizon line, the further below I go, the more angled they get again, just like up top. Okay. And let's put one more. All right. Now, this little kind of windows here, I've got different types. I could get a lot more detailed, but for right now, we're going to go in general, and each building will do something different. Okay. I'm going to go to the left side of this building and do the same thing. All right. Again, I want to make all these match up and have them all go towards my vanishing point, just so that everybody's on that same page. The ruler is always pivoting off of this vanishing point, okay? The only thing that's technically changing is where it is on the right side here, okay? On the left side, it should always line up with that same vanishing point. I've seen a lot of pictures from students in the past where if you have one line going to somewhere up here and one going somewhere down here, it's noticeable, okay? It breaks the illusion. This is all an illusion, all right, this linear perspective. And when we get back to class, we'll talk a little bit about that, the history of this illusion. I've got some pictures from Pompeii, some paintings where they were doing this technique. And then into the Renaissance when they perfected this technique. Now, you guys, this is kind of, it looks like a striped building. So let's think about, I'm going to go over here to this left building. Let's make some actual, what look like windows, okay? I'm going to do that same thing. Let's kind of measure. I'm going to go off the corner of this building here and line up my little lines. And I'm thinking this time, I'm going to go down, whoops, just so I'm accurate here. If you got a ruler, you can do this with a ruler real easy, but there's always ways around things. So I like to do that for those people that don't have a ruler at home. I'm going to go down one line and then down two. All right. Then I'm going to go down one line and down two. One line, down two. Go down 1, then 2. Now here, we're going to come back. Actually, here I'm going to just go down 2 because we're going to have doors down here, okay? Maybe 3. I'll have to decide when I get down there. All right, I made some marks just to measure. Now, so I'm going to draw these lines on the building going to the vantage point just like I did on the last. However, I might draw them a little bit lighter because I'm going these windows aren't going to go across the whole building. These will be guidelines showing me where the windows are, okay? Now, sorry about that, got a frog in the throat. All right, right here, line up that line, okay, for the top. And then right here, line up. Now it's really just the same thing that we did with the last. Again, don't forget that your ruler should be anchored over on the left side for this side to the vanishing point, okay? And continue this like so. Here we go. I think we're near the bottom, aren't we? All right, let's put a line here at the very bottom where I was going to, and then I'll decide what to do with it in a little bit. I really am going to go ahead. I've got to decide, are these windows? I was thinking about putting the lines going this direction to this vanishing point, right? The thing is, let's draw the windows in here first. I was thinking about doing 2 per level, okay? And I'm thinking that we might not see this side's windows, okay? So what I'm going to do is think about how wide I want this. I'm going to rough in a window here. Now, if I do a window this large, I've got to think that my window that is further away is going to be a little bit skinnier, okay? So I'm going to make the width here a little bit less. I think maybe like right there, okay? I roughed that in just to give me a guideline, all right? Now I'm going to go in, all right, see where I'm at. I want windows on this level, this level, this level, all right? So I'm going to go to that top line, make sure that it is lined up. It looks, making sure it looks vertical, okay? Now, I'm going to put a line here and stop. I'm going to go, remember I'm going to skip that middle part. I'm going to go here and stop. Skip that middle part. Go here and here. All right. Now, I'm going to move my ruler over, and again, check, make sure it's looking vertical. There's a lot of lines here. Hopefully it's vertical. You could always measure for vertical if you wanted. You could measure how far this is and then go down here and measure and just line your ruler up. That would be the most accurate way if we were doing architecture, right, or drafting. That's what we would actually do. But since this is just 7th grade art class, we're kind of eyeballing it here. Now let's go to the next spot. Let's line this up again. Actually, I'm going to move to the other side of it so that I can line up my ruler for vertical on the left side, okay? And there are some people that will put the ruler at the corner and then just slide it back, hoping to keep it as vertical as it was when you started. Same thing though, we're going to draw a line here, skip, go to the next one, All right, I'm going to move on over to the end, the last lines for these windows. Now, hopefully they line up. Now, you guys, I drew a little bit dark here. I really didn't intend on us leaving all these lines. Hey, I got a pink eraser here. I'm going to use it. I'm going to go in here. Oh, I'm not going to use that eraser. Look what that eraser did. Might be a bit old. Okay, I'm going to go in here and erase some of this that I don't need. All right. And then down here, I got to think about the doors. While I'm doing all this erasing, think about the doors. Multitasking here. Okay. Now, whoa. Hopefully my eraser's small enough to get in that spot there. Let's brush this off. You guys see what I got? Now, do you think? Now, if I erase a line that I feel like I erased a little bit of the corner of the building here, I can go in there and fix that. All right. Let's go back over it. Now here where my pink eraser, I could try and erase that. Looks like I'm not going to make it perfect. Oh well. Neatness counts, but not really that much. Okay, now I'm kind of wondering, see this width here? If I had windows looking straight into this building here, they might be visible over here, but maybe we'll imagine that they're not. One time I lived down in a building down in Indianapolis that we looked right into the building right next door. It was pretty interesting. Anyway, it was right here. Let's think of what could this be? What could this be? Now, I could have a door down here. Same thing. Remember how I made these windows here? Make sure it's vertical. Okay? I think we talked about that yesterday. Sometimes we have a tendency when we're drawing these things to want to lean. You know, it wants to lean on us. I'm going to make this like a double door, okay? Okay, maybe something like this. Now, let's go in and make sure we got some verticals. I'm going to go over here and do that. Again, I was kind of thinking, well, I'd really prefer this to be a little wider than that. Let me adjust. Remember, because things shrink as they go back in space. So I prefer this to be just a touch wider, okay? And then the double doors, same thing. We could put this here. Now, this large area right here between the windows and the door looks like a good spot for a advertisement, you know? I mean, let's just erase real quick so you can see what's going on here. Just so you can see the face of this building. You see what's happened? It's all in perspective, okay? So now, if you haven't caught on yet, all of the windows go to a vanishing point, right? The top and bottom. So the ones way up here are going down to the vanishing point. The ones way down here are going up to the vanishing point. And the ones near the middle are just going straight kind of to the vanishing point. All right? Depends on your perspective. And I talked about that on the first video. If my horizon line was higher or lower, it would change that perspective. Now, thinking about this, what if this was an advertisement? What if this was a little sign? Let's make it the art building, okay? I'm gonna just real quick draw a little line very lightly below the windows. And let's go with a real small line above the doors. Because let's say I had a word, and let me go ahead and kind of I'm kind of boxing it. Where do I want this sign? It's going to be right here. All right, this sign is advertising what this building is. And if I wanted to make it let's say, the art building, I gotta think about how the word art's gonna fit in here. Whoop. And the word, if it's on the side like this, it would also be in perspective, whatever you had it. If you made it into a bank, if you made it into a hardware store, whatever it was. But as you can see here, I've made it into an art building. It's very similar to one in Chicago. Actually, the one in Chicago is a lot fancier. There's a very cool building downtown. Now, here, let's say, if I wanted to, I could get rid of the little borders here, or I could keep them. Maybe it's a neon sign. If I had colored pencils, I could color that in, right? I'll leave it like that for now. And we'll move on to another building because there's a lot of windows to go. Let's see here. I'm darkening in my art. I wanted it to look a little nicer. Let's darken it in. All right. And then down here, maybe I'll put a couple little indications of some handles for the doors. So you can get in. Maybe a little box here so you can call up to somebody, like they did on Seinfeld or something. Now, hey, remember how we did this kind of in general, just some stripes? You could do vertical lines as well if you wanted to do a building that just kind of, I think our one downtown has kind of like vertical lines here in Lafayette. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to do that to this building on this side. I'm going to I'm not going to go up and measure vertical lines here, but I am going to measure an area for the door. So let's just make it similar to the size here, because this is about the same distance away. We never put a door on this one. If you wanted to put doors, well, you know how, right? Then let's just go here. Now, thinking about this, maybe some vertical lines. I don't know. Let's kind of eyeball this. I'm going to put one here, here, and here. I feel like this area is smaller than that area. And this, okay, so I kind of divided it up like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and line up. Let's see if I can keep these vertical. It'd be nice, be best to probably measure it. Let's just keep it vertical. Otherwise, we'd be adding detail to these for days. Now, there's some nice vertical lines for that building. What do you think? Let's do it again here. Now, this time we will have lines. We could have stripes down here, but let's go about the same distance as this one and go here. And then we're not going to see. We'll get up to the top here and we'll figure out what we got to do. Let's again check for our verticality, our verticalness. I don't know if I'm making up words. I heard a yeah from the crowd over there. Let's see. All right, now I'm thinking about the width here. Make it a little bit skinnier, a little bit skinnier, a little bit. Here we go. These lines are only going to go to this building. And I'm going to try again, keep them as vertical. Check the verticality of it. Just kidding. All right, here we go. Let's go there. I don't know, you get all these lines, it gives you some patterns, to go through and do windows like this building to every one of these buildings Could take us a while. Could go over our time limit. And technically, I'm thinking at this point we might have another 10 minutes or so for this this particular drawing. But let's continue on. Again, we kind of know how to add doors down here. But I was thinking about doing some windows on this building that were kind of like this. You know, maybe I could go 2 rows of 3. Let me think. You know, I was thinking about the height of the door area. It might be in here, right? So imagine if I wanted to make that the same on this building, but smaller because it's further away, I could just line up with my building next to it, okay? Which I'm going to. I'm going to put a little line here. So I'm going to have windows, you know, above this. We're going to call this the walk-in level, okay? The main level. I'm going to have 2 rows of windows. I'm thinking, oh, remember how we were measuring? If you have a ruler to measure, great. If not, get you something, piece of paper. This about works out. If I go 1 line down, 1 line up, I've got room. Well, let's think about this. I was thinking I could go. We might make these little bitty windows. All right, they are further away. So let's do that. Let's make a row way up here that are real small. Make a row way down here that are real small, and there'll be a space in the middle, okay? Let's see what happens. We'll see what it looks like. See if we like it. If we don't like it, we can always erase it. Hey, I'm going to line up each one of these with my vanishing point on the right side. All right, again, I've started, if you didn't notice, I quit going all the way to the vanishing point for erasing purposes. I think you guys realize this is going to the vanishing point, right? See that line I just made? I just stopped at the end of the building. Same thing here. Next line. Go there, stop the end of the building. All right. Let's go up here. And one more. This one's real close to the horizon line, which means it's almost horizontal. There we go. All right, I've broken down where I want these windows. And I think I said I was going to go 3 wide. I'm going to look at this distance here. Go ahead and draw me a line. Draw a line. This distance. And then whatever this distance is, this is a window. Make this next one a little bit narrower. Make the next window a little bit narrower. Make the next thing. You know what? I could just about do 4 windows wide. Look at that. I think I'm doing 4 windows, you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and draw some vertical lines. If you didn't see that, what I'm doing there is eyeballing it. Okay, I'm looking at this distance. This isn't a window, right? Let me erase so you know. The window starts here. But I want the space between the windows and the windows to gradually get thinner and thinner as we go down and you know, down the line. And whatever I put here, if I line my ruler up, I can line that up for the bottom ones too, just like we did on this art building, okay? So let's line up our ruler right here. I'll kind of neaten up that line up top. Then if everything's looking vertical, I'll go ahead and do the one on the bottom. Same thing with the next window. Moving on down the line, neaten this up top. Go ahead and draw one in on the bottom, all right? And again, checking to see how vertical things are looking. Sometimes they can get away from you if you're not careful. I think we saw that on our video. Actually, it is getting away from me. I just looked at this, you guys. I'm erasing those two lines. Actually, I'm erasing those two and those two. What I looked at here, I looked at this. I lined this up and look at the edge of my paper. That's way off. Okay? And this building might be just a touch. So what I'm going to do here is neaten up this whole building. Let's do that real quick. The building is leaning like, and I think that we might have talked about that being a leaning building yesterday. See how leaning it is? It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Let's fix it though. We can fix that. Look at that. Our measurements can all still stay the same. These lines can be the same. All right, no biggie. The lines that I do have to change are the distance of these windows. Let's make sure this thing's vertical. This side of it's pretty vertical. So it looked like one side was leaning in and the other was vertical, and that building, we're lucky it didn't twist apart. Now, let's check this corner here, see where we need to be going with this. Maybe about right there. Okay, let's kind of rehash this. Now, up here, I'm going to look at that distance. I think we could still get the same windows in here if we use a little magic here. Let me try and keep this vertical. We'll just see what it looks like. Again, you just saw how you could make a little bit of a mistake, but you can fix it. All right? That's what the eraser's for. All right? Trying to keep things vertical if I can. Here we go. Oh, kind of lost where my windows were there. Let's see if this ends up looking okay. Now that I'm checking vertical, I'm really going along this edge of my paper, okay? Not to get confused with over here, these extra papers. I usually put papers underneath my paper. I've always done that. I just like to have something to press against that isn't a hard table. It gives it, then my lines don't take the texture of the table, you know, pushing through. Here we go. There's a lot of windows. I remember my original idea was just to have 3. Let's see how many I end up with. I've been doing all these little lines. Thinking, what a mess, huh? We'll see if we can clean this mess up with our eraser. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to erase around this first window and maybe a second one. You see what I'm doing there? Okay, I'm going to do the same thing down here. Let's erase around so it's a little less confusing, right? You see, I'm just erasing the in-betweens. In between there. Now here, what's going on in between here? These don't look like they're lining up anymore. This could have some strange This could be a strange window pattern. Hey, let's do this. On the bottom, I'm going to do that. These are nice and equal. These look great. You see that? The 4 windows on the bottom look great. But up here, I've got something weird going on. I got a window here, window here. All right, we'll go with the 4 windows. Something weird's going on with them. All right. Now, can you imagine doing that to this whole building with a whole bunch of windows? It'd take you some time, right? It'd just take you some time, that's all. You could continue on this. Again, little details for the doors. that you could add in. You could, this building could have multiple doors. Let's imagine, what other kind of things could we want on here? Let's get rid of a little bit of our dust there. There we go. And I gotta think about this. Time-wise, what time did I start? I wrote it down, you guys. I think I wrote it on my pretend ruler here. Oh, I did. Hey, we started this about a little over a half hour ago. So let's talk about this. Whatever you get done today, okay? It could be at this point. It could be like this with a couple unfinished buildings. We're going to turn it in, okay? Maybe when we get back to school next week, we could always have these pictures that we could finish up when we get a chance. But sometimes these pictures, you know, if I was doing this in class, we would spend more than a couple days on it. We'd spend, you know, a week because we'd color them in and all kinds of stuff. But for the purpose of our remote learning and grading this, whatever you have up to this point, I mean, you're only supposed to, I'm supposed to give you, you know, 30 to 45 minutes instruction / work time, which if you're drawing along with me, then you've got 30 to 45 minutes on both pictures, right? If you're not drawing along with me, I guess, draw real fast. Anyway, don't forget, if you're going to turn this in. Now, for our people that didn't turn stuff in, you know, there's a bunch of you. All you have to do is go to that. If your camera on the Chromebook doesn't take the picture by directly clicking on the camera, go to Google Docs. Okay, remember? Let me show you. Where is it? We'll go up here to Apps, Google Docs. You guys know what Google Doc is. It's the blue one with the lines, right? You click on that. That's easy. It takes my computer a minute because I got cameras all hooked up here. We got 2 cameras going at once. Click on, open a new blank document. See that? If it'll let me. Here we go. I'm still a little ahead of it. So then you could title your document art, linear perspective, city scene, whatever you want. Whatever. It's for you to find, right? Not for me to find. But you title it whatever you want. And I'm letting the computer, you can see it's still spinning up here. I was going to title it. There we go. Whoops. A-R-T. We're on computer speed. Okay, and then just go up here to insert. Hey, hover over image. Look at that. Pops up that drop down menu. And then you go to camera and click on it. And it's going to let you take a picture. You know, you can hold it up, take a picture of it. All right. And then you'd insert it. Now, again, I told you guys the last time the camera's not popping up on me because I have my document camera hooked to this. I got the camera going. We don't have a third camera here. Anyway, once that camera pops up, you click insert, it'll put it on the paper. It saves it for you automatically or automagically, right? We didn't even have that when I was younger. We had to go up to file, save, and save it ourselves. But then when you go into that Canvas assignment for this one, there'll be a place for you to upload your image, okay? And just find that. Usually you have to go down where the files are. When it opens that up, click on the tab for Google Drive. All right, and it should be there. Click on it. Upload it. I'll grade it. It's easy A. Easy A. All right? Don't worry about how it looks. This is, you know, I don't expect everybody to be experts. But man, some of them look great from that 1-point perspective. So keep it up, okay? All right. Now, you guys, I hope you have a good day. Let me find where oh, there we go. Wrong picture. I think I want to go here. I need to remind you to, what is it? Oh, don't forget to subscribe and you can't comment because I made this for kids, so there's no comment. But you could subscribe and click on like. And don't forget to ring that little bell. Ring a ding ding. All right, you guys have a good day. See ya.